Hey players, welcome back to KT Gaming, your go-to channel for everything gaming and tech. Today I'm diving deep into a game that has been on the edge for a while now, but just got a major update. The game I'm talking about is Helldivers, so grab your gear because I'm going to find out if this is the update that will save Helldivers once and for all. And my sources are official Helldivers website, IGN, Game Rant, and Gaming Bible. Let's check it out. The Helldivers community has been buzzing for 3 to 4 days now, and for a good reason. The game just received a massive update, and for many fans, this is the make or break moment. Helldivers, the third-person shooter that once captured the hearts of players with its co-op chaos and tactical gameplay, has had its ups and downs. While it initially gained a strong following, the game started to lose steam due to the balancing issues and the lack of fresh content. Now developers Arrowhead Game Studios have introduced a patch that aims to address many of these concerns, and the question on everyone's mind is, will this be enough to save Helldivers? Before I dive into the specifics of the update, let me take a step back and assess where Helldivers stood before this big patch. Helldivers was initially praised for its unique blend of fast-paced shooting and tactical decision making, all wrapped up in cooperative multiplayer experiences. However, over time, some of its systems, particularly certain weapons, stratagems, and perks, felt outdated or downright nerfed into oblivion. Players began to express frustration over the balance or lack thereof, which made certain loadouts feel useless compared to others. Players complained about certain weapons feeling useless, with flame-based weapons, explosives, and even exosuits not delivering the firepower you'd expect in a game as intense as Helldivers 2. Many players found themselves grinding through missions only to feel let down by weaker weapons or overwhelming enemies. Both factions were notoriously difficult to take down, especially in high-tier missions, leaving many players frustrated. IGN highlighted these balancing issues, calling out how some of the game's most iconic weapons, like the flamethrower and anti-tank support weapons, just didn't scale well enough as the game progressed. Game Rant also pointed out how players who invested in certain loadouts found themselves at a disadvantage, especially when up against heavily armored enemies. This update isn't just about minor tweaks, it's a complete overhaul of some key systems and weapons in the game. The substantial flamethrower, torture, and crisper. These were always fan favorites but felt underwhelming when dealing with tougher enemies or larger crowds. This update improved their damage significantly and range. Next up, the general improvements to the Liberator weapon family. The Liberator weapons, known for their solid versatility, has also received a buff. These weapons now come with improved accuracy, reduced recoil, and much faster reload speeds. The Liberator weapon family, which includes the standard rifle and the more advanced versions, has also been buffed. These weapons were always reliable, but in the later stages of the game, they didn't keep up with the increasing difficulty. The Diligence weapons now deal more damage, and they've always been fan favorites, but they lack the raw damage output needed to tackle tougher enemies. A slight rework for the Breaker Spray and Pray, and it's been reworked slightly, making it more consistent in terms of spread and damage. This weapon was always fun, but a little too chaotic to be reliable. Now it has a tighter spread and improved control, making it more useful in close quarters combat. Grenades have also received a substantial buff in this update. Both frag and incendiary grenades deal more damage and have a slightly larger explosion radius, making them more impactful during heated battles. Explosive anti-tank support weapons damage increase. One of the biggest complaints before this update was that their weapons felt like they didn't scale well, especially against tougher enemies. This update changed that. The flamethrower was already a powerful weapon, but now it's even better. With increased range and damage, the flamethrower has become the ultimate crowd control tool. The railgun might just be the best weapon for now taking on sturdy enemies. This weapon, which already had decent damage, has received a massive damage boost, making it an absolute powerhouse. Finally, the arc thrower has seen a massive boost to its range. Previously, this weapon was great for stunning enemies, but lacked the range to be truly effective. Now with the range increase, the arc thrower can hit enemies from much further away, making it a much more versatile tool. And lastly, the Terminids and the Automatons have received nerfs, so now they're way easier to take down than before. The 500 kg bomb was already a devastating tool in the right hands, but now it's even bigger. The blast radius has been significantly increased, making it perfect for clearing large areas or taking down massive enemies. The Emancipator exosuit has also received a buff, improving both its durability and firepower, which makes the exosuit much more useful in heavy combat situations, especially in the late game. Gas weapons have also been reworked, improving both their effectiveness and usability. Now gas clouds linger for longer and deal more damage over time, making them an essential tool for crowd control. So I bet you're wondering how the community has reacted to these changes. The responses has been overwhelmingly positive. On Reddit, players have been celebrating the buffs, especially to the flame weapons and anti-tank support. The flamethrower is an absolute beast now, one user commented, while another praised the railgun as the best weapon in the game after this patch. IGN ran a poll and the majority of players said that these changes make Helldivers 2 feel more balanced and fun to play. Players who were frustrated with the game's difficulty or who felt that their favorite weapons were underpowered are now more satisfied with the overall experience. Game Rant mentioned that this update could be the turning point for the game, noting that the players are more engaged now than ever before. However, there are still some players who feel that Helldivers 2 could benefit from new content, such as additional missions or enemy types to keep the momentum going, even new planets. Now the million-dollar question is this the update that will save Helldivers 2? From what we've seen, this update has significantly improved the game. The weapon buffs, especially to the flame-based and explosive weapons, have revitalized the gameplay. Players who had been disappointed with certain loadouts are now returning, excited to test out the newly buffed weapons. Now the big question is this the update that will save Helldivers 2? From what we've seen so far, this update has certainly brought a lot of players back and reinvigorated interest in the game. The balancing issues that plagued the game at launch has been addressed, and weapons that were once unusable are now back in action. Perks that felt underwhelming are now powerful, and the quality of life changes make the game more enjoyable for everyone. Gaming Bible states that the update has given Helldivers 2 a second wind, but whether that will translate into long-term success depends on what comes next. The developers need to keep the momentum going, with more frequent updates, new content, and community engagement to truly save the game. While the community is thrilled with these changes, Helldivers 2 will need more than just one good patch to reach its full potential. New content updates and additional missions will be critical moving forward, as the current update, while fantastic, might not be enough to sustain the player interest for the long haul. So is this the update that will save Helldivers 2? It's definitely a step in the right direction. The buffs to weapons and perks, the quality of life changes, and the improved matchmaking are all huge wins for the game, but only time will tell if Helldivers can keep this up, with the new content updates in the future. What do you think? Will this update save Helldivers 2? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. And as always players, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more updates on all things Helldivers 2, gaming, and tech. Now players, I'm honestly finding this update really great. Like, I was playing the game again when this update dropped and I'm like, wow, I'm having fun again. This is great. So, you know, honestly, it took them way too long to do this. That's why the game died out in the first place. But I'm really curious to see what more they do to the game and if they will be able to keep this momentum going and truly save their game. So players, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out, and now let's fight for democracy as we did all those many moons ago.